Well, guess who's got to do a voiceover because they forgot to turn the microphone on the camera. So this week there was rather a large haul from a dealer on eBay selling a lot of American rolling stock. So it was too good an opportunity to miss. So straight in we had 3 front runner wagons, which are basically a spine wagon for carrying a articulated trailer on top. As you can see from this one, the packaging was a little bit odd coloured from obviously storing in a window or in direct sunlight. So the contents were okay, but the packaging left a bit to be desired. So we moved on to the second and third one with some issues to come. So this was a Schneider trailer, bright orange one, but as you can see where my finger is right now, the wagon looked a little bit odd. So we started to rip out the packaging, and as you can see, something wasn't quite right there. So that sort of roused my suspicion. We went on to the third one, which again had visual indicators that there was something not quite right. Couldn't see what the reason was, but whether it was some kind of heat distortion from storage. I suspect now that it was probably mazak rot. I did contact the sellers, which you'll see shortly, some snippets of the photographs in comparison with these wagons looking at one another. There was sort of visual indicators between these two now that the bend was more severe on one than it was the other. The first one wasn't too bad, but again you could see the rot had started to set in as it was, because I believe it is some form of mazak rot that's causing this. Looking online, I did see some more evidence that the earlier batch of these were affected, which is unfortunate because they're a nice wagon, but apparently some have told me they don't run very well. Maybe that's because of this design flaw, or they're all starting to walk because they're a bad batch. Moving on, this is a very similar kit version. I think this was a Walthers one. It's a 5-car unit where it looks very similar to the existing spine wagons, but they run as a set of 5 rather than individual ones. So this again was something new, all in a package in there. As you can see, I'm just going through it quickly just to check to make sure there is enough there to build 5 cars. They all operate as one continuous item. That's sort of like the lead one. There's a duplicate that goes on the other end, and then each other one shares a wheel set. When I did sort of get into this off camera, there was a couple of minor detail parts missing, only like an air tank and things like that. Nothing that you sort of can't fashion out of a bit of plastic, so it wasn't the end of it really, but for what I paid for it, was quite a good price. Then we move on to Husky stack cars. I've got a few of these already, but I do like these Walthers ones because they're all metal, so you don't have to worry about additional weight, and you can run a single container in them or double stack them, as they're called, Husky stack cars. So one was a Southwind one, which is part of the sort of Norfolk and Southern umbrella. So I had those two, which were individual lots, and then of course there was a lot of 3. And there we are, 3 more. They happen to be, unfortunately, all the same running number. But other than that, again, these were all a bit of a steal. Reasonable price, about £14 each. And again, all is new, other than sort of a bit fading from storage. They were in quite good condition. And it was rude not to, as I say. Then we move on to an A-line manufactured 5-car set. Similar sort of vein, again there for intermodal container transportation. Just as a 5-car set. These ones are a bit plasticky. There's not a lot of weight in them, and unfortunately because of their skeletal format, you can't really put a lot of weight in them. There's nowhere to sort of conceal extra weight. The only way you can do it again is by weighting the container itself. I don't know how these run. I think I have got another set of old second-hand ones of these and some kit variants that are very similar to these. These are just a little bit more detailed. Again, these were all as new in the box. I don't think anyone's ever used them. Any sort of minor detail parts I think is just storage damage, and these are the Gunderson type. Again, I think they're still on the railway network, but not in great use. I think, you know, the container sizes have negated the use of these, so anything bigger than a 40-foot has to go on the top, which is what they're designed for, with the shape of them, sometimes referred to, I think, as a Viking ship, because of the shape. But again, these were good condition. I did go through them and sort of check to see if there's any warpage on the little die-cast front parts, which sort of was where the only weight again can be, is up by the wheel front. Here I'm just indicating these little angle pieces tend to get broken or fall off. I've got the kit variant, and there's a few missing from a second-hand kit, easily rectified with a bit of sort of angle plastruct and some yellow paint to put it right. I think on these again, with the front section there where your next wagon sits on the screw, is the only place that's sort of made of a cast metal to facilitate any weight. Here you can see, like, the top one there is obviously sat in the window light, because it is noticeably faded on that side compared to the other one. Nothing sort of big. Again, they're all in fairly good condition, other than just sort of associated wear and tear from long-term storage, I suppose. They link together okay. Sometimes these little ends can tend to curve up a little bit, but you can enlarge the hole just if there's any binding when you're running them. Again, this is something I'm going to have to wait and find out when I get it built, but you can see noticeably the fade in there. They fade in real life, being yellow and oranges. Reds are always terrible for fading and weathering and oxidising. Again, some weathering and a few graffiti decals will soon take your eye off anything like that. So nothing to worry too much about. So I'll cut into the picture stills of our banana wagons. Well, a bit of an update. We're back on the camera a few days after my last bit of video with all of the American wagons. With these ones, if you recall, I did mention they were a little bit odd looking and bent. On further investigation, they have, unfortunately, although they're as new with regards to their condition, they've got mazak rot. It hasn't gone sort of scaly and crumbly, but the chassis is cast metal and they're bent like bananas, basically. If I have done, I'll insert one of the photographs I sent the seller against one of my engineering blocks, and then you can see that it's quite extreme. And in fact, looking at one, it started to break apart. Some of the detail parts fell off, so I contacted them and it was a few days to-ing and fro-ing. And they refunded me the full price on one, and I said it was all three that were faulty, as I said in the message. Don't know whether they didn't read it properly or... So they came back and said, oh, well in that case, if they're all like that, we'll send them back to me, and we'll relist them as spares or repairs. So I'd had the full refund of £16 on one, so that left me with two to send back. And I said, well, if you're going to list them as spares or repairs, you know, I'm open to a partial refund, because obviously I can keep the trailers. So I got £10 back on each of the other ones. One was $14.99 and the other one I think was $16. So I'm happy. I got the trailers. The trailers on their own, Walters trailers, are £15 each second hand. Over here anyway, I don't know what they are in the States, but yeah, so just be aware if you are buying front runners that they're not shaped like bananas. So today, Saturday delivery from Yodel. Don't know whether you have Yodel in the States. They're just another DHL, FedEx type company, as it's almost the witching hour. Talking to the wife, I'm sure she'll ring in a minute because she'll want me to put her to bed. Right, well, at least this one has some extra packaging. The last one was just wrapped in a bit of bubble wrap. So this guy has gone the full 9 yards. And hopefully the couriers haven't done their damnedest to ruin it, so I'll save waffling and get this open. So we're back. I don't know whether this one is assembled. Normally they come as separate to put together. This is another auto rack. These are the big double articulated ones. But it's Norfolk and Southern, so I had to indulge. Slightly different packing on this one. Oops. One moment. That's better. So, not that you can see much. There is a separate compartment for the middle piece for anyone that hasn't seen it before. That wheel truck bogie, as we call them, unscrews and the little rubber piece comes away, and that just packs away separately. So this is this runs 19 inches long, which is just about 49 centimetres. Nicely detailed. You've got the brake piping and bits and pieces like that, separately fitted handrails there. They're not moulded like they are on the basic Walters ones. So it had to be done really, Norfolk and Southern. I've got another variant and a TTX one, so I really should I really should probably not buy any more, but you know, they don't come up very often. But they are going to be radius killers, because they, I think the minimum is 20 or 22 I think they will run on. I haven't tried one on a British third radius, which I might actually have a go, just to run it around on the track while it's still joined together. But I don't think it will, because ours is 21 inch and the minimum's 22, and I know that's a bit too tight for some. Right, I'm waffling. Catch you on the next one.